President Trump, he's sort of creating this conversation about all sorts of foreign policy stuff, both actual expansionism and like, I don't know, rhetorical offensive. So he was saying we should rename the Gulf of Mexico. Should we rename the Gulf of Mexico, guys?
Yes. And it
Gulf
turns out
of America.
that
I've known about that one for quite a while, and I haven't leaked that one either. So proud of myself.
It turns out that I think one of the first, I was looking at this last year, and one of the first posts I was able to find of that was from my brother, like all the way back in like April of 2024, and he was out on a wave runner, and he was like just cruising the Gulf of America. Its new name come 2025, and I was like, Kevin, did somebody like tip you off? He's like, no, I just thought that's what it should be called.
Well, and it makes perfect sense too, because I mean, realistically, most of the Gulf is completely dependent. It's either United States border or completely dependent on the United States for everything.
Well,
so,
if we are going to name things because they're dependent on the U.S., we should rename Europe America.
Well, I mean, I'll just say this. This is why I went on a rampage talking about how Baja California needs to be 100% within our control. And everybody's up in arms because they're like, well, we don't want to make it a state. But it's, the Baja California has like literally outside of the border towns has no population. It's like Greenland.
Yeah, it's a big bummer actually, because I was reading about this. So in the Mexican War, Polk wanted to take all of Baja California, or like all of California, because there's Alto and Baja, and then he wanted like Chihuahua, so he wanted like the states that are south of Arizona bordering us. And at the time, those places were entirely empty, so they could have just been, settled by Americans. They would have been great, and I guess might have been a downer for Phoenix, that whatever Phoenix's equivalent would probably be down in Chihuahua or something, but...
No, I mean, no. There's only two cities. It's Tijuana and Mexicali.
Well, wait.
But this
so
goes
Tyler,
back to the Gulf. Mexico deserves nothing.
This is my question for you, though, that because we talked about this prior to. I know we talked about this on a prior episode of talking about Arizona, and since you're Mr. Arizona, I got to ask: wasn't there? I'm not looking it up. I don't have any notes in front of me, but wasn't at the end, like you're talking about the Mexican War, U.S.-Mexican War, that Arizona was originally supposed to get coastline. It was supposed to connect all the way down there, and then for some reason we just didn't take it.
No,
So the whole problem with like State Department diplomats who just, as it were, cuck out. Literally, what happened is the diplomat we sent to negotiate in Mexico was opposed to the war and didn't want to take more Mexico, so he sided with the Mexicans and was like, I'm giving you a way better deal. It's the very end of President Polk's term. So he's just like, I want it done. Let's get out.
Well,
and
all they did was minimize. So they minimized themselves, the U.S. border, to where they wanted to put the train.
Yeah. And then we still had to buy it. We had to buy Gadsden later.
Well, that's what I mean. So we're Gadsden. So the first treaty at the end of Polk, they gave away Baja California. But then even in the Gadsden purchase, all they cared about was just getting the train done.
It's heartbreaking. It actually is sort of heartbreaking, because when you think about it, zoom out at a big level, how much better would it be for the world just if those territories were in an awesome country like America instead of the most permanently dysfunctional country on earth, Mexico, whose like sheer amount of mess that it is only made worse by the fact that they have the biggest advantage a country could possibly have, which is sharing a border with America.
Well, so Blake, so here's let's zoom out a little bit, because I've been getting people, and I've seen the chatter online, I'm sure we all have. They're saying, wait a minute, you guys were America first 5 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden you're talking about territorial acquisition, and you're talking about Greenland. And
Greenland is going to be part of America, so of course I'm America first.
And we have it, right, but no, but what I wanted Blake to do, if we should zoom out here for a second, is none of us view any inherent contradictions between those. So what's the difference between, and this is really a question for Blake, I guess, what's the difference
it's a thoughtful question.
America first versus like neoconservatism?
Well, I think actually a genuinely valid thing is, so first of all, neoconservatism always wants us to get involved in places that like truly are not our business, and also have a lot of baggage that comes into play as soon as you decide to stick yourself in. So oh yeah, oh it'll be easy to knock out Saddam, and we'll just fix it. When Iraq is literally has had written history for 5,000 years at this point, and all these tribes that all hate each other, and infamously we went in and Bush didn't know there were Sunnis and Shias as separate things when we invaded Iraq. Greenland, let's be real. Greenland has 50,000 people. It has fewer people. It has half the population of like Tempe. And so it's not a lot of people. We literally, like, if you wanted to, we could literally just like put every single person who lives in Greenland on like welfare for the rest of their lives, and it would not be the end of the world. We have plenty of people on welfare already.
Well, we did that with some places. That
yeah. We already do that with effectively Denmark by paying for their national defense. And so, like,
Bingo.
it is a place that is hugely potentially useful to us, but it doesn't require sticking ourselves in something that actually has an ancient history and a lot of like grievance based, that would have valid grievances if we were to administer it. It's just not like that. It actually is a largely empty place that we could unlock the potential of, and Denmark doesn't want to unlock the potential of it.
I'm going to make it super clear and then kick back to Charlie because we've hijacked this away from Charlie for too long here, but we'll kick back to Charlie.
No, I think this is great. I'm enjoying this.
We went into Iraq and Afghanistan, got nothing out of it.
Anti anything out of it.
We spent
only set our wealth on fire.
No, but got nothing out of it. We're talking about, it's not even nearly the same thing. We're talking about going into and really via treaty. Not this wouldn't happen over, right? We have so many pressures that we can put on Mexico, for example, to change names of things and to get more land out of Baja California, to get Greenland and all of that. Especially what Charlie just mentioned.
Don't you mean Baja America?
Most of these people, Baja California,
Baja,
I think we should call it Baja,
Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah.
We'll call it Baja,
Yeah,
Arizona.
Baja,
We have to
Arizona.
rename California. You guys know
I wanted to rename the Gulf of California the Gulf of Arizona, but that's a whole different thing.
we should think
Yes.
about that, because
Yo,
you know where
100%
California's
agree.
name comes from? It comes from like the word caliph. So it's literally like a Muslim
Yeah,
name
caliphate.
for
It's like the
California.
caliph. Yeah, yeah.
Is that right? I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, it's
That's
true.
fascinating.
The word admiral is also an Arabic word, like admiral. It goes through, like, it was from, because remember, prior to expanding to the United States, who was the Spanish Empire mainly fighting? They were fighting the Moors. They were fighting North Africa. So the caliph was someone that was always their like enemy. So this was something they constantly were talking about.
Well, and so, I mean, we should get something out of this, right? They're already dependent. Most of the people probably in Baja California want to be Americans. I mean, Tijuana, Mexicali are completely, they're extensions of San Diego and extensions of, just right over the border. Mexicali, I think, is right next to Blythe, that's over there. It's like not far at all, and Yuma. And so it's like, why don't we just have this and actually take monetary advantage of this and monetize the entire place? We'll probably ease off California. California will become less blue. We don't even have to make it a state. Don't make it a state. Make it a territory.
Or we could make it a state and unstate California.
Yeah, okay.